Money and spirituality go hand in hand. If you are broke and you live the average life of the average person, and you wake up every Monday and say, fuck, I hate Mondays, and you have some shitty colleagues that drain your energy, and you have a Nazi of a boss, and you generally just hate your life, primarily because your job sucks, then you won't have time or energy to do spirituality, period. And if you are broke and constantly have financial issues, worries, or you don't know how long it's going to take to pay off your mortgage or your bills or your insurances or your fucking car, then all that fear, all that worry will drain your energy. Simply having your finances, your survival sorted out is the foundation of spirituality. And I'd argue you literally cannot be spiritual if you are broke and your life is filled with financial worries and working a job you hate that drains your energy. And I'd also argue that it is borderline impossible to develop yourself spiritually and then not become rich. If you follow your purpose, your dharma, your purpose in the world, you find your place in the world, and you give value to the world, then obviously the world should and will give you value back. The only way it is possible as a spiritual person to not become wealthy is to develop yourself apart from society. And in history, this has been the tradition. Jesus roamed the desert with his disciples. Most yogis will go into the jungle or the mountains. And generally, spiritual people are quite seclusive because the matrix or the world generally doesn't take well to people who are spiritually inclined and refuse to follow norms, tradition, and culture. Because the matrix itself is a sort of collective ego. But in the modern world, there are so many ways to make a living, and there are so many possibilities to turn your purpose and your passion into something that both benefits you because you have fucking fun doing it, but also because it gives value to the world. There are so many things you can invent product-wise, and there has never been an easier time to do it. Or you can simply lecture people online or talk shit out of your ass like I do, or you can make music or open a bakery. It has literally never been this easy to start your own business, to turn your passion into something that directly values the world. And there has never been this wider market and this many niches, and people have never been this open to receiving value. Whether that's simply in the form of entertainment or talking shit online, or whether that's inventing a niche product, or just doing something simple like opening a bakery. Opening your own bakery is a purpose, a sort of dharma, if that is what you want, if that is what you love, and it is a way to give tangible values to the world. Many people think that purpose has to be some big fucking thing, but it's really simple. Purpose is just what you love doing because it is what you are meant to do. I love making music, and I love nerding spirituality and meditating and talking, so that's what I fucking do. The purpose of a flower is to bloom and give nectar to bees. The purpose of a tree is to grow and make fruits. The purpose of a wolf is to hunt sheep. Purpose isn't some big holy thing. It's not like you pray to God and then God gives you a holy purpose and says you gotta conquer the Holy Land or convert the world to whatever religion. Purpose is really fucking simple. And purpose, as a human, is literally just what you love. The thing you love to do is the thing you are meant to do because God made you with your heart. You are designed consciously with your desires. It's not like you come out the womb and then it's genetically determined what you love. Because guess what? I love music and I love spirituality, but my brother wants to be a pilot. We have completely different life paths. It's not our genetics that determine what we love. And it is not randomness either. It is your soul and thus your connection to God that determines what your passion and your purpose is. And the easiest way to find your purpose is just to ask yourself, what would my dream life look like? If I got to do whatever the fuck I want. What would I do? If money wasn't a problem, what would I do? If I was the richest man in the world, what would I do? And for me, the answer was I would make music and I would, do a shit ton of spirituality and I'd draw and paint because that's what I love. Take the thing you would do if you didn't have to make money and then make that thing the business that actually makes you money. And surprise, now your life is borderline perfect. Because the one thing that lets you develop whatsoever is simply that you sort your survival and your, in the modern world, your finances in a way that doesn't drain your energy. If you love what you do for a living, then the rest of your life will sort itself out more or less naturally. Because the cornerstone of any personal development, and especially spiritual development, is simply that your material life is in order. And many traditions think that desire is evil, that being attached to materialism is evil. And it is true that for some people it becomes a huge obstacle that they keep wanting more from the material world, that billionaires will keep making more and more money, and therefore generally people assume that money is bad or that money is evil, which couldn't be further from the truth. If you are a person who is responsible with money, then you can donate that money to charities, to organizations that help the world. And money is arguably, in the modern world, the only way to truly have an impact. You can be a saint or a hippie or eco whatever person and sit in your basement with no money and preach that the world should just change, but you won't actually have any money or any influence to change anything. If you are a good person, then that should be the reason you make money. Why not become wealthy? Why not become rich so that you can actually help the world, so that you can actually have an impact? So many people will complain about the world and make an enemy of money and then conclude that they'll just sit in their room and be mad that Jeff Bezos is abusing his workers, or that Exxon is mining the world for oil and fucking killing the planet. You can only make a change if you have power, okay? And money is power. Power isn't the enemy, it is how that power is used. And if you genuinely are a good person with your heart in the right place, then that should be even more the reason for you to want to make money as a spiritual person. And when you have spirituality, then you won't get addicted to materialism, because as you develop spiritually, your desires will be fulfilled by God. The heart longs endlessly. That is why billionaires can have 50 cars and still not be satisfied. That is why people can have huge orgies and fuck so many people and still not be satisfied. Because fundamentally, the heart cannot be satisfied by the material world. The point is that you sort out your foundation for living and then you pursue God. And when you do actually have spirituality and you start to have spiritual experiences, then you will no longer crave the world. Because God fulfills you in a way that the world simply can't, okay? I have a connection to Goddess Kali, and if she just hugs me in meditation, then I will have an orgasm, okay? I am not lustful towards the world. I don't desire humans or women simply because it is easier and even more intense for me to just be touched by my goddess. If she lays a hand on my heart, then I have a body-wide orgasm. And when you genuinely start to practice spirituality, then it will fill you with so much happiness and so much bliss that you simply don't crave the world anymore. You don't have to make an enemy of money and of materialism in order to develop spiritually, because once you do, you will naturally start to desire spirituality. I don't meditate because I think I have to, or because I'm disciplined, or because I've made an enemy of the world. I meditate because when I meditate, then I have a fucking orgasm. Materialism is not an obstacle for a person who is spiritual. Materialism isn't a distraction and a trap for a person who is truly spiritual. It can be if you genuinely have no perception of God, if you have no notion or idea of what is beyond, because then you will be trapped and your endless desire can only try to find fulfillment in materialism, and it will always be left unsatisfied. But the notion that materialism is a distraction and that you have to make an enemy of the world is simply fucking silly. And God is the world. Once you realize God, once you develop a connection to a deity, then you will start to see them in the world. And then you will actually enjoy the world more so because you become sensitive. Once you start to meditate and even just develop general sensitivity towards the world, then all experiences will be infinitely more pleasurable. I can sit down and just enjoy the sun, and for me that is bliss. When you become spiritual, then you won't need materialism, not because you made an enemy of it, but simply because you develop to a point where practicing spirituality and following your heart becomes infinitely more fun. It's not that you have to make an enemy of the world in order to be a spiritual person. To sum it up, it is your nature to be wealthy, and arguably to not be wealthy is to be ignorant, because you are ignorant of your own power, of your own purpose, of your own gift to the world. And spirituality and money go hand in hand, because having a healthy material life is the foundation for developing spiritually. And materialism will never be an obstacle for a person who practices spirituality, because spirituality is the ultimate fulfillment. God is the ultimate drug, love is the ultimate drug. And you cannot be addicted to the world once you practice spirituality, because you will be addicted to God. So, bless you, and may you grow super fucking rich, and then may you find God. Om Maha Kalika.